Today I'm doing another plan with me, and this is the beginning of the week. And as always, I start with the weekly spread. I fill out my habit tracker, and I'm using the Tombow brush pen here in, let's see, 623. Because I'm using the Strasa gel pen, it does smudge the ink a bit, but I'm not too fussed about it. I just move my circle sticker to the right day of the week and schedule in some new events that I have coming up. As usual, I use blotting paper because the pen is super smudgy, and a magnetic bookmark just to mark the monthly spread, but also it's helpful with keeping the blotting paper in place. But here I'm flipping to a fresh weekly spread and starting with the total expenses heading that's on the bottom left and putting the bookmark back in place. So I mentioned this, I think, in a previous video, but I want to use the Tombow brush pen to make the columns on the sidebar bolder. And as you can see, I was flipping the book around to figure out the best way to do this. I'm still getting used to using the brush pen, and I don't have the best control of it, so I'm still figuring that out, but this actually turned out pretty well, much better than I would have expected, especially doing it on camera. But yeah, it actually works really well. I can tell which column is which day really quickly, and I'm still using it the same way. I put the little symbol on the relevant date and then the item underneath it. So here I'm just, as always, migrating the items for this week from the monthly spread into this weekly sidebar. I'm also flipping to the June monthly spread because this week is when we're entering June, so the weekend is actually the 1st and 2nd, and I did have some items for that weekend here. So what I have also decided to do is use the Tombow brush pen for open tasks. I figure that'll be definitely distinct between open tasks and ones I've crossed off with the pen. And here I'm just trying to figure out what they actually look like when they're just dots. And I've mentioned this before, but I'm not too fussy about the way my book looks, even though, again, I do want it to look nice. So I actually used the swatch page to see what the dots look like and which color I want, and I ended up using the color N79 for the open tasks. And I'm just doing a circle with that, and since I am using the brush pen side instead of the point side, the harder tip, they come out really nice and light. They're not too obtrusive, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And, they're faded and muted compared to what my pen looks like when I've crossed it off. So that works really well. I do have a May flip through video, and I mentioned this there, but I think I do want to use a bolder color in future weeks, so I'll definitely update you on how that is going, and how I'm getting on with, differentiating between open and completed tasks, since that's been such a saga. Here, as always, I am migrating open tasks, unfinished ones from the previous week to this one, and putting them in their relevant categories in the different columns. Here I've started on a project category on the far left side, and then another project category in the second column, and then a miscellaneous category in the third column. I don't think I've actually explained my categories in the weekly spread before, but that's what they are. They are, specific projects, and then I'll have one miscellaneous one for things like chores or errands, things like that. I used to actually separate the miscellaneous category into more specific ones, but I don't know. I've been worried about running out of space for the projects themselves, which is, more of a priority. But sometimes, some weeks are slower, and I do wish I had just broken up the miscellaneous category because I have the space for it. But it's not that big of a problem. But one of the categories that I used to do was correspondence, and this is honestly really helpful for me. Things like, have I emailed this person that I really need to reach out to, or have I heard back from this person who is supposed to give me, whatever document or information. So I've just kind of lumped that into the miscellaneous category, but maybe one of these days I'll bring back the correspondence column. This is actually the Tuesday, so the day after that first footage. And I'm filling out my habit tracker and moving the dot sticker. Or maybe I forgot to move the dot sticker actually, and I did it after the fact. But I actually wanted to show you how the weekly spread kind of ends up looking the way that it does at the end of the week. But I'm definitely a real-time planner, and it was really difficult for me to show you much of it at all because I fill them out throughout the day, so I don't have my camera set up or anything, and there's no footage of it. So I managed to do Tuesday. This is Tuesday morning, and I had a bunch of stuff that I knew I needed to do for the rest of the week or for that day. So I did get this footage, but that's pretty much all I have. I don't have any footage for how the rest of the spread, ends up looking like. But as always, I will show you what that looks like on Sunday at the end of the week. But this is how it looks, I guess, midweek, or, on the Tuesday. It's only 2 days. But yeah, this is how it looks before the end. Today is Sunday, and it's the end of the week. And this is how the weekly spread is looking. It is early in the day, so there's still some items that I will need to note down, and lots of things I have to do actually tonight, and that is really why I'm filming this early on the Sunday, because I have a lot of things to do tonight. But this is basically what it looks like when it's finished. I'll take this off, I guess, since I have yet to note down my total expenses, so I don't have to cover it up yet. And this was a pretty good week. I'm feeling better from last week, where I was kind of feeling shitty. Got a bit done. I actually finished a whole project, or I completed it. I finished it. Right, we're in June now, which is kind of crazy that it's already June, but here we go. I note that down here. So I actually completed 3 projects this month, which is pretty good. But yeah, it always feels good when you finish a big project, and being able to do that this week was great. I've mentioned this in my voiceover for the earlier footage, but the sidebar with the bolder columns works really well, so I'm really happy about that. And I used this 451 color, but I am thinking of using the gray next week. Hopefully, well, and this isn't really important, but what I'm hoping is that the columns itself will look more like it's part of the initial design of the book. And I don't hate the way this looks or whatever. I actually just prefer that maybe the color can be, for the items itself. So I'm actually hoping to use maybe this color or a different one for the open tasks, and then use gray for the sidebar columns to make it look like more of the original design of the book. And then obviously the open tasks aren't. I've added them in, so I don't mind using, something more colorful. But that's just my brush pen ramblings. But yeah, clearly I'm having fun with them, even though I'm still using them pretty minimally. I don't know, I just really like the clean look, so I'm hoping to keep that. And yeah, I don't have too many canceled items here, or discarded items. Here I have one, I have another one. And otherwise things are going well. I have one note that I've put here. I haven't written too many notes on the weekly spread since I have such a dedicated space for them in the daily pages. So that's why you don't really see them a lot. Well, that's not true. I guess I have some here. But, compared to the way I used to work in my old books, I guess, I used to have so many notes on my weekly pages, or, whatever those would be called, and bullet journals. But these days I keep them in their designated spaces, so that's actually really nice, and I get to just keep these for my tasks. There's not much to add aside from that. I guess you can check out my other plan with me, since there aren't too many changes from week to week aside from, I got brush pens. But I hope this was still, I don't know, satisfying to watch, informative, entertaining. Let me know if there are, specific things you want me to talk about in my weekly plan with me's, or any questions. I would love to hear them, and definitely let me know how your weekly spreads are going, or, your daily pages, because I am curious if people make a lot of changes from week to week, since, as you can see, mine are pretty static, which is good. They're very functional. But I know other people usually have a lot more fun with theirs, with changing things up, and I am curious how you guys do that, because it seems very fun. But yeah, that's all for this video. This is how the spread looks on the Sunday, with a little bit more to go. I hope this was entertaining to watch, or, if you put it on in the background. But yeah, thank you for watching, and definitely check out my May flip through, which I'll link here in the cards. And I'll be back with another video soon. Thank you for watching.